Hey there, my name's Eric Keener. Welcome to Create an Impact. This is a series where we're going to explore how finding peace on the inside can actually lead to real results on the outside. Now, this isn't a sponsored show, there's no ads. This is just a space we've created for conversation for people like you who are genuinely seeking to grow and improve. In this first episode, I sit down with my good friend, my buddy, my mentor, my CEO, my coach, Jeet Kumar. He's the author of Create an Impact book and a couple others, and honestly, this conversation really means a ton to me. We're unpacking a big mindset shift that goes from, why is this happening to me, to why not me? It's something I have personally lived. You're going to hear some of that in this story, and you're going to hear Jeet's story, which takes this idea to an entirely new level. This conversation is not theoretical. It actually offers you real, practical, actionable steps that you can take for yourself. I so encourage you to just tune in, listen, take this seriously, because you will get all kinds of stuff out of it. So if you ever felt stuck or you're feeling stuck right now, you're weighed down by your past, I can promise you that there is stuff in it for you. So stay tuned, let's dive in. Jeet, there's not a lot in life that you do that doesn't just have a ton of thought put into it. And you have this saying, peace inside, results outside. And that plays into all kinds of different things, right? But one of the things that came out of it was this book, Creating an Impact, that you wrote. And I love stories. So I'd love to hear just what was the thought behind it? Like from the moment you're like, I'm going to write a book, what got you there?
Yeah. While I was growing up, I always felt life can be better for me and better for others. And I always say that because somehow I was that kind of a kid who always wanted life to be better. And so when I grew up, I worked for various companies, started this company. My life was set. And there's so much I have done and figured it out and, so to say, even accomplished. But how I want to translate and transfer that knowledge to other people. Because there was so much going on in my head. And I wanted that knowledge and that creation and those learnings to live here while I'm not living here. So I'm not a strong believer of leaving any legacy behind, but I'm a strong believer of leaving my learnings behind. And so for me, the choices were, okay, I'll let all of that die when I go away, or I'll leave some of those learnings behind for people to look at it. What makes sense? Does it even make sense? What to do with that? Even learn from it, grow from it, expand, scale. And that's why this book came to the existence. I had a choice to let it die, or I had a choice to let it be available for people to learn.
I'm personally excited for everyone that's going to be able to get to listen to this conversation and read the book, because there's just going to be so much that comes out of it. And so really what I want to talk today about is not just your experiences, but the experiences of others, stories, coaching opportunities. And the first section of the book really revolves around going from why me? Why is this happening to me? Kind of that victim mentality to wait, why not me? And so how does that play out in your life personally?
Yeah. So there were many things were happening, but then when you are in it, you don't realize how much you are in it. You only can see how much you were in it when you are out of it. So when I was out of that whole thing, I started seeing things through different lenses, through different perspective. And I came up with these 3-step process. I'll come to why me to why not me, but 3-step process to really get to a life that I call it life full of celebration. Exploration, number 1, then creation based on whatever you explored, and whatever you create, you celebrate. So those are the 3 steps I have seen in my life played out when I was out of it. So one of the things, why me to why not me, total victim mentality and being victimized of everything to be fully empowered. So this transformational journey that you probably exploring with me as a part of that exploration that I had is how did I come to that realization that life can be better for me and better for others.
Well, how bad was life at the time?
Yeah. And again, you can only see it when you are out of it, right? So in those days, it was life. But I could imagine when I look back how it must be for me. No money, no one to guide me, coach me, help me, not very many resources, very limited education, lot of liabilities and responsibilities on my shoulders, no light I could see at the end of the tunnel. I had to think about everything from morning to evening, food on the table, taking care of responsibilities where the credibility and also the whole societal or community pressure that I had on myself about my sister's marriages, that where completely your family can be gone. So how bad it was? It was pretty bad. But it was not bad when I was living it.
And when you say life, I imagine all the responsibilities. Someone might think you were, in your late teens, but really it started when you were a kid.
I was a toddler, pretty
and
much.
You were responsible for everything from way before
8 to 10 years old.
Yeah.
I was not even a teen. I remember way back when I was in 5th or 6th grade when I had to do things for my mom's knitting machine and I was figuring it out, many things. So it was, but I want to emphasize again that life was what life was.
Yeah, you have no context otherwise.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the life is, and we'll explore that life because some people are in that life and I want to help them to see the life that you are in. Maybe that is lifing you, but that's not the life you may want. And there is a way to be out of that life, to create the life that you always wanted to create.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to your hometown.
Yeah.
And from an outsider looking in, for that to be normal for you is crazy because there's so much poverty in that area. And I just can't even imagine all the responsibility as an 8-year-old. That's wild. So what was the transformational process for you? What did life look like once you were getting the mindset of being empowered to the why not me?
Yeah. And I think I'm going to share in steps, right? I think the people who seek can only find. And so the process got started from me being quite committed, determined, and to the extent stubborn. And the stubborn can have a negative connotation, but being stubborn about something that is possible or that is better. I was not stubborn for what I was getting out of it. So I was quite committed, quite determined to the extent of stubbornness that life can be better. I'm not okay if kids not letting me play because I don't have gears. I was not okay not having enough food on the table. Life can be better. There was some level of understanding I got initially in my childhood. Don't know how and why. And I'm constantly looking why I was the way I was. But I was very clear that life can be better. And so I want to say the process got started because I was seeking. And those who seek can find. So I started finding things. For example, I would start looking for, okay, what makes people to achieve certain level of prosperity? What it makes people to have a lot more awareness about their lives. So I found that I had two choices in my hometown. Either I could become a shopkeeper and start selling things, or I really become good in education and get job that allow me to make more money and allow me to create things through that process. Selling things in my hometown was tough because there was not much resources. First, because you need to invest into, then you can really start selling. So for me, seeking was important. I looked for what makes sense. Education was my way of being and my way of doing. That was the only gateway I could have that will allow me to be the life that I'm living today. And so the process started from that place that I became good at education. I became good student. And so then when I really reached to some certain place, I started making money. Money is required to live, period. But that's not the reason to live. And I was, again, got that understanding very quickly that I was responsible towards money, but I was not after money. So I was seeking making a difference in life, making a difference in my life, and taking care of the responsibilities. So when I got enough knowledge and education, I got a first job, started making money. But since money was not the reason, I was kept looking, what's the goal? What's the purpose of living? So then I started reading books. Very first book which I read was, very first book that I read was Magic of Thinking Big. And when I read that book first time, it opened up my world, that there is a magic when you think big. Very simple book, but life-altering book. Then I read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Then I read the book called Think and Grow Rich. I've just kept reading many books. And that led me towards in a seminar which I attended, Landmark Forum, in 2006. I was 35 years old, and that took me to the whole new level in my thinking. It made me explore my life that I could not able to explore before attended that seminar.
And, excuse me. And just to put it into perspective, how impactful it was. I've been through Landmark Forum, and you've been through it how many times?
13 times by then.
13 times.
13 times.
I've been through it once and had major transformation. And you've done it multiple times, not just to experience the transformation for yourself, but really to see how they coach. How do you get into their world in such a way that you can change the lives of other people, right?
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
And I want to share. I'm going to open up a little can of
Please.
worms, and I'm going to make it personal now. I'm putting myself on the line a little bit, because when I met you in 2022, the story I had been telling myself, the meaning I had been making in my life was, I came from a very poor background. I was homeless most of my life with my drug addict parents. I was just a really ignorant kid. I made a lot of really bad choices, got in a ton of trouble. And I was always telling myself, well, I'm in trouble right now because of this and because of the past and I let the past really just own my present. Before taking Landmark, I didn't understand that. We have so much power in the present to do something. So from your perspective, I'd love to hear what you've seen through coaching me with what you know, because I've had major transformation in the last couple of years.
Yeah. And when I look at human beings, I see their greatness always. And then I also see how committed they are to that greatness. And one of the first steps towards how committed they are to the greatness that I see in them is how open they are. Because if somebody is not open, it's very difficult to coach or mentor or help. Now, people sometimes are not open, not that they don't want to be open. They sometimes don't find themselves open to the new areas and things because they are worried or concerned or fearful, and even they don't trust the other human being, trust anything. For them, it's a big deal. I'm not going to listen to you because I don't know what you are up to, right? What you are going to gain or get out of me. So when I coach people, I look, okay, every human being is designed, and it's a birthright, designed to be great. Now, can that person be open? First of all, is that person being open? And if that person is not open, I look at, can that person be open? And I see if that person is not open, is that person doesn't want to be open, not being coachable? Or is that person is not open because he or she doesn't trust other human beings? So my job first would be to differentiate and distinguish. If a person is not coachable, there is nothing I can do about that. Coming back to what I saw in you, you were hungry. You were always open right from get-go. So it probably didn't apply to you. But then when I've seen other people, if somebody's coachable, I try to earn their trust first to make sure that they know my thoughts, my words, and my actions are always in harmony. Because if you can trust me and knowing that Jeet doesn't have any agenda, and I can really experience that he doesn't have any agenda, then you will be you or other human beings tend to be open more so. So I coach people through their opening, and then I look what is available, what is coming in their way, what is it that inspires those human beings. Like in your case, Eric, you were looking to make a difference. You were looking to make life better for other human beings.
And I had a ton of baggage and garbage that I brought to the table at the same time, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking back on it. Like
and that's a part which I look at. Every human being can be great, but what is coming in their way to connect with their greatness. And I look what is coming in their way, and the baggage that you talked about was coming in your way and many people's way. And that baggage, you didn't born with that baggage. No one is born. No one gets born that way. But things happen throughout life, and that past get accumulated. That past is so thick in human beings' life that they don't even know that it's past. They think that's who they are. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it collapses so much that they don't know what is possible. So since past become their own self, there is no time and space for the future that they can create. So for me, you were open. I looked at what was possible. I also saw what you were committed to. You were also seeking. As I share that those who seek can only get or can only find. So you were seeking. I started looking your past. I was helping you. You were kept trying. You went to seminars. You read books. We had a deep conversations. And through that process, you were able to distinguish that I'm not my past. I have a past. And that past can come in my way, or I can learn from that past to create a better future for myself and for other people. So you were able to separate yourself from that and then also start leveraging it rather than making that as a constraint, because there was a lot of good things you have learned through that past called independent, hardworking, committed, responsible. I saw all of that in you. But it was all those attributes you had, but they were all survival mechanism.
Totally. And you said it very generously, and I know you as a very, very loving person. That's who you are. That's what you are. I would say you whooped my butt a couple times.
Yeah. But that's a part of the process.
And that's love too. It's super uncomfortable while it's happening, but man, it's each time it happens. The first time it took me like 3 weeks to finally be like, yeah, he was right. Yeah. I got to think about that. And the next time it was like 2 weeks. And now it's down to like, hey, Eric, do you want to have a conversation? I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. And I can tell you how love shows up, since we are talking about love has a different forms. Love is not only one way, because love is all about others. I want us to really let it sink in. Love is always about others. And since it is about others, you need to see how love can make a difference in other human beings' lives. So love can show up as a care. Love can show up as a coaching. Love can show up as a ruthless compassion. Love can show up as a leadership. Love can show up as I'm here for you, go for it, I believe in you. So love can have a brotherhood. Love can be a father figure. Love can be a friendship. Love can be a romantic loves. Many forms. But all those forms of love all have different attributes of it. And so you share about one of those love that I had to use, right? Application of the love was, what the heck are you doing, buddy? It's not helping you.
So right? True.
It was not helping you, and I just put my foot down, because love can show up as a ruthless compassion. And so I was very compassionate, but very ruthless about that, because it was not helping you. Now, I could have looked good. I didn't have to do any of this, and it would have been okay, but it would have been all about me. what was required for you might have made me look bad, but I was willing to do it because it was required for you to do well in your life.
And that's just speaks so much to your character, your insight. And we've talked a lot about how you coach personally. What I'd love for folks listening, if they're stuck in that mindset and they haven't quite gotten there to the why not me? I'm committed. The past has no bearing. If they're still kind of in that space, what advice do you give for someone like that right now?
Yeah. I'm going to start someone who wants to have a better life and those who don't have a life that they want. All lives are good lives, but life that they don't have that they want, I want them to start seeking first. There is a 3-step process. You have to be a seeker. You have to look. You have to be committed. You have to be determined. You need to find. You need to get to that stubbornness that life can be better for me, right? So those who seek can find. That's number one. I would say they need to really understand that they can. Second, they need to really define the kind of life they would like to have. What is it they are looking for? Maybe they are looking for freedom. That could be a freedom of expression. They might be looking for financial freedom. That might give them a freedom to create. They might be looking for a relationship. They might be looking for bond. They might be looking for a career that allows them to blossom. Or they might be looking to innovate new things. You need to get clear what gets you going. What inspires you? When you get up in the morning and you say, if I had this, I would have done so much for this humanity and for myself and for my loved one. I could not wait to get off my bed and go. So define that one for you. Don't worry how you're going to achieve it, but define that. So you should believe that you can. Second, you define what you want. And then look for simple, easy 3 to 5 things that you can do that day to forward your cause. For example, if you are looking for money as a financial freedom, just see how can I increase, what steps I need to do today that might increase my earnings by 5%. What kind of things I can do that will reduce my cost by 5 or 10%. Just look for those things. If I'm overweight, what can I do today to reduce my my food intake, or can I move a little more today? So believe you can, understand what it is, and then take some step. No action will not create anything for you. No matter how much you think, without actions, nothing happens. And just simplify 3 to 5 actions that you can take to move the needle, to move your life towards the cause and the goal that you are. And the last one, as a bonus, if you could find someone who has done similar work, who you can trust. I call them coaches. And we can define the mentors versus coaches. There is a difference between these two. But find people who can really take a stand for you, who can really come along with you, and just listen to those people. And if you don't have anyone, find some books, find some ways to learn. So those are the ways I can really say for people to get out of their own current state of things, but don't be victim.
Yeah, and I was just going to speak to that because what I see that gets in the way of myself at times and many people that I have conversations with, when you have this self-pity or this lack of drive to do that step one, make the plan, seek it, and then do it, it's just a do. Know that it's not going to be done perfectly or right or anything, just do. And then maybe after some doing, you do it a little bit better, and then, over time you do it best. And it's a lot like working out. I can't just go crush it in the gym and be ripped today. It's just reps. It's over and over and over and over. And it's a commitment to making that change. And the commitment I see gets so stifled when there's that victim or that self-pity that, oh, I can't do it. And you just lose the power of being able to make that step of do the thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Eric. And it doesn't do any good. It doesn't do any good to you and to anyone and to this humanity. The world is full of so much possibility, so many possibilities, so much potential. And plan, act, analyze, learn. But you can only plan when you know what to plan for. So understanding, having the clarity of that I'm not going to be a victim of my circumstances. I'm empowered. I can have a self-pityness. I can be someone who can live in my own world and just feel sad and bad for myself. Or I say, no, this is enough. This is not good. And it's not creating anything for anyone. And it starts with me first. It's not creating anything for myself. So having that mindset will allow you to say, oh, life can be better. So then you plan, then you act, then you analyze the outcome. Because first time as you share, when you act, not everything will go as per your plan. But then if you analyze, that will allow you to see the gaps and then learn. Have a discipline of learning, and then go back to the planning, the drawing board again.
And there's another thing that can get in people's way at times of that learn phase. And that's when you say, oh no, I didn't do as well as I could have. And you have this, without being humble and introspective, right? Knowing it's okay that you are where you are, because the goal is to progress.
Yeah, I'll tell you, learning is a painful process, very painful process. I've seen a small kid, when they get up, first time when they want to learn to walk, they just fall down. And it's painful when you fall down. Everything hurts. Your leg hurts, your butt hurts, everything hurts. And the kid is very smart. They get up again, but this time a little more. They just take a step in a different way, or they get up in a different way, and then again fall down, but the third time they are getting up in a different way, because their brain is analyzing everything. And learning is extremely painful. And majority of the human beings give up because it's painful. You look bad. Let's say if you want to speak in front of audience, like public speaking, you have 1,000 people in front of you, and you know you're not good at it. You get on the stage with so much fear. And why would you go to the stage when you know you're not good at it? It's a painful process. But if you do that and you watch your recording later on and say, hey, here I could have taken a lot longer pause, or I would have listened to the question differently. I could have said something this way versus that way. Then you will go back to the stage in a different way next time. But you need to really understand that learning is painful, or learning is a process to enjoy. It only depends on what is your commitment towards life. See, learning is painful when you are doing it as an obligation or as a responsibility, as a burden. But if learning you are doing it as a commitment to make the life better for you and better for others, that learning becomes fun. It can be painful or it can be fun. So for me, throughout my life, I have really transformed why me to why not me, to learning as a painful to learning as a fun process. Mm-hmm. I know that I'm not good at something. But then I'm also clear that the only way I can be good at it by not good at it first, and then learn through the process and enjoy the process. And then I'll get good at it. And while I'm doing it, again, I'm committed for life can be better for me and for others. I'm not doing something because, oh my God, what will happen if I don't learn? What will happen to this company? What will happen to the people that I really care and admire and appreciate and serve? What will happen to the people that I really want to extend opportunities to? All of that could become a burden. Or you say, no, I'm here as an expression, as a possibility. I want to make life better for other human beings. Since it's about other human beings, I'm going to learn how to do it. And if I can get a little better, it's going to help so many people. If it doesn't get better, I'm going to keep finding a way. And if it doesn't get better at all, maybe I'm not designed for it. There's nothing I can do about that. But it never comes from the place of obligation and responsibility as a burden. But it comes back to, again, why me to why not me? Why me always has as a element, the actions is still there. Action of burden, action of obligations, action of painfulness, action of survival, suffering at times. But the moment you go, why not me? It's so freeing. You feel like, oh my God, life can be better. And God has been very kind to you, to give you an opportunity to make a difference in other human beings' life. And I feel that way. So learning is such a fun process for me.
And that's what gets me emotional when I think back of the last couple of years of being coached by you and spending so much time with other phenomenal leaders. I don't know how to articulate well enough the weight that gets lifted when you understand that freedom that you have to the now, to what you're up to creating, knowing that learning is painful and a process of that. But I look at my life now and I love it. I have so much freedom. And it's just, I can't even assign a value to how incredible it is when you're not living in a place of misery. And there's so many people that live in misery, and it makes me have so much compassion for them because I know what is possible. And that's why I think these conversations are so amazing, is because that freedom's possible. Listening to some of these things that are being said make that possible. Yeah. And life is just beautiful when you don't have that weight chaining you down.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You talked about the part of misery. When you give up, when you surrender to no possibilities, when you surrender to current state of things and you feel nothing can be better, the misery starts from there, Eric. Misery starts when you accept your current state of the thing as your fate. You can be born poor, and there is a say about that born poor is a curse, dying poor is a laziness. And I think I am a strong believer, coming back to those who are seeking can only find. I don't want any human being to accept their current state as is if you are not enjoying your current state. No matter where you are and whichever the part of the world you are living into, don't accept what it is as is if you are not okay with that. Think for a moment that I'm not okay with my current state of things. Then why am I accepting that as is? I can do something. Human beings are powerful beyond their imaginations. They can do something about that. Now, the question is what to do. That's a different conversation. But you can only find what to do when you are committed to find out what to do. And the commitment, no one can give you. It has to come within you. Those who are seeking can only find. Get committed that life can be better for you. Don't accept things as is. Because if you do accept, there is no chance. There is no chance whatsoever you could ever have an opportunity to get from why me to why not me, to be victim to an empower, to be someone who's a poor, to be having enough resources and wealthy, to be someone who is not educated, to have enough education, to someone who doesn't have any relationship, to have a powerful relationship, a loving relationship. It is the mindset. And people say, oh, people use this mindset as a simple word. No, fight for what you stand for. First, find out what is that you stand for, and don't let that die down. Is the process. First step, and I've seen, you talked about the misery part of it, I've seen so many people have given up and giving into that no possibility. And my heart goes out for those human beings. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this, to give those people a hope, an opportunity, a possibility. And a guy like me who had nothing, not much, if I had anything, no father, no resources, no money, no education, no leadership, pretty much next to nothing, to be where I am today. I truly believe human beings are powerful beyond their imagination. And everybody has an opportunity to do well in their lives, just like I did. And so I am also in this journey with them, vicariously living through their progress. So if you are someone who have seen no hope, I want you to start taking one thing to start with. Don't accept things as is. And then keep listening to these conversations and see what is possible. And define come along with me on this journey, and you will see so many things for yourself.
We have so many more conversations to get into around creating an impact, the book you wrote. We have 12 more episodes in this series that we're going to talk about. And I think how you just shared is really another way of saying peace inside, results outside.
Yeah, absolutely. Because the people who have given up hope and given up all this creation and possibility because they don't see anything, but they really have no peace because there was no results outside. So there's very intertwined thing. They're looking for peace, but they cannot have results outside. Now, there'll be time people are producing tons of results, but still there is no peace inside. So it can go both ways. Some people don't have peace because there is not enough results. Some people have so much results, but it's never good enough. That also created no peace. And I think through these conversations, we are going to decipher, we are going to unconceal that how you achieve a peace and how you really produce consistent results. And if you have one of them missing, life is not fun. Life is absolutely not fun because you can have tons of results and so much money and so many creation and so much success, but there is no peace inside. What's the point? Or you have nothing, and then that's also not a point of living because you're not enjoying life in a way that it is meant to be.
So as we wrap up this conversation, I end every episode with one question. What's the one action someone can take based around the conversation we had today?
Yeah. I think I've been sharing throughout this conversation, one of the things which I want people to do is to do the audit of their life. Just look at the life as is. Don't worry about it, how and what. Like, are you having a peace in your life? And if not, then why not? What is missing? Just simple do the audit. Then maybe a relationship is not making you peaceful and happy. Or maybe the money in your bank account is creating problem for you. Or maybe a career growth is a challenge. Or your health and fitness may not be at a place where you want it to be. Just do the audit and look at it. What are the different elements that really taking away your peace? And then we can continue to explore the steps through which you are going to achieve those results that are going to really create a peace that you are looking for.
That's awesome. Take that to heart, everybody. This is important, serious, life-changing stuff. We got a lot more conversations to have, Jeet. Thanks for today.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate this so much. Thank you. Thank you for joining our conversation today. Remember, peace inside creates results outside. And if you like these conversations, please do subscribe to our channels. I'm available on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And I want you to connect with your greatness. I love you all, and we'll see you in our next conversation.